Well, hello YouTube. How's it going? We all know why we're here. The Scum at the End of the Road is now available to purchase. Oh boy. As of this very moment, The Scum at the End of the Road. The Scum at the End of the Road is available on Amazon. You can get it paperback for $10.99, I think, or Kindle for $2.99, or if you have Kindle Unlimited, it's free. I will leave the link to that straight down below. It'll be the first thing you see, so check it out. I really appreciate it. I'll also link the beginning down below. You can read it for free on the Scum at the End of the Road blog. This video is going to be just pretty chilled, pretty laid back, because there's not really that much to say. I mean, I just have another book under my belt, and it's crazy. Like, I don't know, it's just a really weird feeling. I think I'm a little bit more nervous for this one, just because, and I mean, I don't really know why, because Thick as Blood was massive compared to this. It was a lot more intricate, and there were more characters, versus Scum is like a lot more simple, but the feelings and like the theme is just kind of, it's heavier in some ways. And it's the first time I've ever tried to do something like this. And like, from the people who've read it so far, they said it was good. You know, they liked it. Of course, they're a little bit biased. But I still like to think it's a good read. It's a book that I would want to read. That being said, I just wanted to thank you guys for, you know, the support. I'm not the most consistent person. Like, I'm not the most consistent writer or consistent YouTube uploader. I feel like I changed my mind, and growing up and writing and developing, I guess, as a person is a confusing path, and it's sometimes unreliable and inconsistent. And so it feels good knowing that when I come on here and make a video, if it's not something that I initially, you know, said I was gonna do, it's not a video that I thought I would be making, it's not met with criticism from you guys, and, you know, you're genuinely supporting me really means a lot. So thank you for that. Now, with that being said, don't freak out. So right from the beginning, I always said that the Scum at the End of the Road was gonna be a project that I would use to take a break from the Thick as Blood series. Even while I was writing Scum, even while I was writing Scum, I was constantly thinking about the Thick as Blood series and that universe, and I was really excited for it. I reread all of Thick as Blood. I've reread what I have so far of the rough draft for the second book in the series. However, when I finished the Scum at the End of the Road, I didn't feel I wanted to go back to that series just yet. Something else has been sort of pressing down on me lately, and I think I want to chalk it up to the fact that this is the winter, and winter time is generally a anxious and not so great time for me. This year I've been handling it really well. I am, for the most part, in a good place, but overall the Thick as Blood series is more of a summertime type of project. It's more of an exciting, fun read that you have to be in a certain sort of headspace for, and I feel right now I'm not in the right headspace for it. So what's next? Lately I've been reading poetry, which I never thought I would be into. My first exposure to poetry was in high school, I guess, reading Shakespeare, and I don't know why that is the first thing that gets introduced to students, to people, because Shakespeare is so confusing and it's not fun to read. Like, for the very first time, like, trying to understand like how, you know, poetry works and stuff, you just, it's Shakespeare, in my opinion, is just too much to throw into somebody for the first time. So right from the start, I did not like it. I mean, it was okay, like, you know, I could get through it, but it was not, like, for me. And then in college, had to read, I think, more Shakespeare and some other people, but again, it was, like, literary poetry. It wasn't, I guess, fun. I will say, I got a certain spark when I read Emily Dickinson. That was the first time I ever felt like, wow, like I actually connected to poems, but it still wasn't something that I would choose to read. And if we step back a second, back into high school, I did read Ellen Hopkins' like Crank and Burned and Identical and like all of that kind of stuff, which at the time, those were like anomalies. Like books like that, I tried to find other sort of poetry style novels, you know, of that sort of tone, and I couldn't. Like, it was... I didn't know where to start, I guess, with poetry, and I really liked her style, but she was the only one doing it, so I think I got discouraged, and I didn't really pursue it further. Lately, though, I've started to ask people, you know, if they had any suggestions for me. I know quite a few literary buffs, so, you know, for them to make suggestions was a little bit easier than me just trying to, like, go into it blind. I've been wandering around poetry sections of bookstores a lot, just trying to find something that isn't about love. And for the few books that I have found, I really, really enjoyed. Again, there just doesn't seem to be a lot of poetry that tells a story, while at the same time making you feel things. And I'm still pretty new to poetry, so I obviously have not discovered everything it has to offer. However, since I have started to read it, words and ideas and little storylines have started to come to me. So much so, in fact, that an actual story idea is forming. But in not like a prose type of way, it's definitely more in a poetry book type of way. And I just really, really, really want to explore this. So I think that's my next step. It is definitely not something I was expecting. It's not something I've ever even talked about. And it is not something I am well versed in. But it's something I feel like I need to do at this point in my life, in time, of the year. And I'm actually pretty excited to take you guys along with me for this. So I guess that's it. That's all I needed to say for this video. Thanks again for being here, supporting me, understanding. For anyone who cares, I hope you have a great Valentine's Day. I'm gonna be over here, single, by myself. It's fine, don't worry about me, I'll be okay, and I will see you next time.